Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the one, the only, the Fan Show. I'm your host, as always, the T-Man, Richard T-Man, and no, do not adjust your sets or change the channel. This is a format that we're trying a little differently. This is the Fan Show, meaning it's not the Fan Show presents Stars of Big Sky Country or Athlete Inc. or Player of the Week or anything like that. We're getting back to doing the actual Fan Show, and we decided to bring in a special guest. We're not replacing Malcolm. We're just shifting gears and turning over a new chapter for the Fan Show because me and my guest have plans for this fall. So let me welcome the man who I call the Ringer, Zack Ringler. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about this. Yeah, when we pitched this idea of like, hey, what if we did this? It was kind of like, yeah, I think there's a need, or maybe not a need, but just like a want. There's always a want, a hunger for like more content that people aren't used to getting. And once they get like a taste of it, they're like, ooh, yeah, give me more. And so high school football in Montana, I feel like there's never going to be a shortage of content you can make for that, right?
Especially here in this part of the state, it doesn't get covered as much as it used to.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's so we're trying something. It's going to be hopefully a lot of fun, but we figured this first episode, because what we're actually going to be doing won't start till August. But we wanted to do a few where we could have you guys get to know me, for those that don't know, and then get to know, of course, the Ringer, Zack over there. But ultimately what we want to do is once football season starts, want to check in once a week, probably Wednesday, and look back at some of the games, not all of them. There's too many between classes, AA, A, B, C, 8-man, 6-man, all that. But pick out a handful that were really good. And then from those, once we go over them, be kind of like, okay, so here's some of the plays. Here's what worked, what didn't work, why it worked, why it didn't work. Which is why you see the screen here. We're going to break down a few plays from recent memory that happened either just this last weekend or a couple of weeks ago, or just relevant to the state of Montana. You see my new, I'm not even wearing Fan Show stuff. Like I've got my new Cats gear here. And then my guy, Pat Barrett from Wisconsin, he just signed on as a coach for the Tulsa Oilers indoor football. He was a lineman. Now he's going to be the O-line coach. So congratulations, Pat. Can't wait to see what he does as a coach. Cheddar cheese is what I call him. So Coach Cheddar Cheese, man, gets a job. Go Oilers. But I thought this first episode would be a good one. Taking steps, we don't need to go down the whole resume all at once. Obviously, you're a coach, and you probably played before. So your resume, just the cliff notes. You played how long? Coached how long?
Gotcha. Yeah. So played in high school. Played O-line as a varsity player, and then when I went to college, just to go to college, be a teacher. Obviously, love football the whole time. Always been a monster part of my life. Got out of college and was trying to find a job teaching and bouncing around as a substitute, and was hoping to get on coaching. And after a year being out, Coach Correa was our head coach at the time. Calls me up and says, "Hey, I got a job on my freshman staff as the O-line coach. Would you like to take it?" Jumped on that and did that for a year, and then jumped up to sophomores after that. From there, coached sophomores at JV until I took over as the varsity D-line coach when Sampson became the head coach. And that's a role I've been in for however long it's been now, 10, 11 years. And then
so your stuff. I'm the host of the Fan Show. My athletic background, I wish was more robust, but I've been around different stuff. Done different things, and here finding a home in Montana and Great Falls, and have loved every minute of being able to get out and do what I do, whether it's here at Gallatin or Glacier. It's been great. So I think a lot of people, what they ask me first off is like, just what's your experience like? Not just your experience as far as what makes you qualified to talk about this, but your experience as far as, tell us something Montana, or something that you've come across memorable, good or bad, that has happened in your time there or with the Fan Show. And so I think with those experiences, we develop kind of a code of conduct for ourselves. Like I've been doing this for 10 years. This is going on its 11th year now. And over that time, I have had experiences that have led to rules that I follow that I've made for myself, nobody else but me. And then that has created its own kind of code that I live by as far as when I go out and I'm representing not only a brand, but myself, which is that brand.
Yeah.
That's how I have to be. So for you as a coach, been a coach for a while, what are some of your good and bad experiences, and how did they lead to like you as a coach with your rules and your code ultimately?
Oh man. Those first few years coaching, it was rough. We didn't have a lot of success, and I learned how to just take joy in like the little things and just trying to get the most out of the guys that I have. A lot of that just comes down to can't you're not always going to be able to get diamond. You're gonna have some coal in there, and you gotta just find all the little things to make guys better. And that's what's been something I've always focused on now. That's just going this whole time on just doing the little things, do the little things right all the time, and get the most out of guys. And I think that's been something. It's part of why our D-Line has been pretty successful over the years. And that's not just me. That's our whole defensive staff and our D coordinator Eric Stover just was like took me. I was like he was like my Jedi master. He was just like, hey, this is what we need to do, and I want you to coach these spots. Just being able to learn from those guys. That's been the biggest part. I've been able to learn from. Stover's been just amazing. That goes back to the guys that he learned from. Jack Johnson from his Stover was a CMR guy, and then Doug Mahoney is an awesome D-line coach over there, and then guys that I learned from personally here. Dan Brady was on D-line coach forever. He was great. Coach Gray is awesome. Little things that I learned from him, and mostly just like the attitude. I got the positive attitude. Just hold on to that and finding joy every day, no matter what it is. Helps get you through that grind. So I don't know. Nothing stands out as far as like the worst moment. In terms of just like one thing that stands out, but just those years of the trials and tribulations of having to lose and figure out ways to get through and enjoy getting the most out of your guys. And I think that's what's made me the man I am today, the coach I am today.
Well, one of the things that attracted me to you and being in a setting like this and being able to pick your brain was an interaction that we had over the summer about certain things that were going on, things that people were wanting us to be a part of, and like that. And you and I had a conversation where I was just like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, well, I just have like feelings about certain ways that certain things should be done when it comes to coaching. And I imagine that you and Cheetah probably, and all the coaches get together, once a year and say, hey, this is our identity. This is what we're about. This is how we execute that so that the boys grow into, reputable young men, respectable young men. So what's an interaction that you've had, whether it's with a parent or another coach, God forbid a referee, where you're just like, this is definitely something back in my mind that I'm going to make sure I note of, because I don't want us to be like that, or maybe I do want us to be more like this. What's something that's happened where you're like, this is who we are, and because of things like this?
Yeah. I've got a couple of personal foul calls. Nothing too much.
Say it ain't so.
Coach Sampson almost killed me.
Oh, jeez.
Playoff game, I got a personal foul. But yeah, that was yeah. But yeah, so like when Cheetah came on, he sat down and he called me and Stover about, hey, you guys want to be put in for the job? You guys be on my staff? Do for me doing special teams and still doing defense, and just sat down and he laid out his vision, what he wanted to get, what our identity should be. We were all in. We were just like, hell yeah, let's get on this. And I think that in the past we'd had some interactions with parents and stuff, and that was part of what he wanted to, was like, hey, this is just very transparent. We're going to be very transparent. So it's all, what are our expectations? And these are the expectations I have of you as a coach, and these are, you need to be transparent with the guys that you have in your position group. And I think that's been the biggest thing, is just like that I think of transparency, just having clear goals, clear expectations, and then communicating those up, to parents. Our staff knows them, the school, like the teachers know them, the our admin knows them, our athletic director, everybody knows what our expectations are, and so it's just having that transparency, and that's alleviated a lot of issues. We don't get a lot of issues with parents. With parents being frustrated, really, playing time and stuff like that. And I think it's just because of the transparency side, and that's something that we always want to do, and that helps with your relationships with kids. You're just transparent. You're right there from the get go about this is what I need from you. This is what I expect of you. This is what I need. This is where we envision you. Whether that's as a boss and you're going to start at the end and dominate and be the best player, best defensive player in Montana, or you're going to be, hey, we think that you're going to contribute on special teams for us, and this is what we need from you. That's been the biggest culture change for me since Chiefs.
And I appreciate you talking about that experience, especially with parents and the transparency, because my world is so different from the rest of your guys' worlds. Like really top to bottom, coach, athletic directors, referees, all of it, because I interact with you guys in a different manner than you guys interact with everybody else. It's like I'm media, and so they think one, everything's on record, which it's not, or that there's always a camera, or there's I don't know, maybe there's always an angle, who knows, but there's definitely been occasions where I've not been a fan of a person that everybody else is, or I'm a fan of a person that everybody else is not a fan of. And it's strictly because I see a different side of them than everybody else does. You as coaches, you have your meetings every year, you interact with coaches throughout the season. I see usually a different side. Hopefully it's the same side, because I'd like to think that everybody is that person 24/7, and that it's not just specially tailored to me and what I do. But I've honestly, people are just like, so how many run-ins with parents have you had? I haven't. Like it's crazy to me. I'll get the it's very much like wow. I get the occasional DM about something that I should be doing. And it's like one person, don't forget that. Trying my best, trying to get to everybody, trying to get to everything with everybody, and it's just not possible. But I try to share the love as much as I can. But I haven't had a parent like corner me at a game, or say like it should have been this player instead of this player. I've seen comments, but nobody's ever been ballsy enough, I guess, to like message me or confront me in person, which I'm okay with, because I don't know how those interactions would go if I've ever to be put in that situation. But the people that I have had negative interactions with actually is a couple of coaches, a referee, and then an athletic director. No joke. So yeah, I'll tell you that story real quick. So the referee, that was while I was a reporter with the news station. So they tell me I have to go to Kalispell, and I'm like, come on, guys. So I go, and it's beautiful over there. Like I'm not complaining. The game, because I got to cover the first round of their playoff game. That game was good, and then the two soccer matchups were great. So I'm at this one, and when you are in the postseason or a championship, you see times 20 of everybody, right? Photographers, news people, where I can be the only one of me any given night here in Great Falls, just because of what we have. But you go to a championship, now everybody's there, right? And they think that they're more important than somebody else just because of who they work for. So I'm there, I'm shooting my highlights, and all of a sudden my foot, no joke, arches the white line. And I have a referee go, hey, you need to step back. Like dead serious. And I usually try to banter with the refs, just like, especially at soccer when they're running up and down the field. I'll be like, oh, almost took me out there. Hey, if you need to, just check me. And they'll laugh and be like, oh, well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. And I try to stay out of their way. I try to respect their job so that they respect mine, because we're both there for a job. But he's like, hey, you need to step back. I'm like, yeah, man, it's no problem. So I move my foot back the 4 inches so it's behind the line. And then there's a turnover, and the ball gets driven down the other field very suddenly. And so I'm leaning out and I'm trying to catch this thing. And as I lean, foot goes over the line again. And he's like, I thought I told you. And now here comes a rep from the MOA, MHSA. And he's just like, you're getting too involved in this game. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, too involved. Like, one, I don't know you. You don't know me. And two, what does that even mean? Like, I'm not out there asking for flags because I've seen photographers do it. Football photographer parents
Really?
are the worst. They will ask for flags, they will yell at refs, and it's just like, dude, in my world, you hear it, and it's like, what? Like, okay, are you a photographer or are you a parent? Because you can't be both right now. Like, and so I've heard photographers call for flags, say that that was a dirty hit or penalty or whatever, and it's just like, you need to shut up and do your job. So that's the interaction that I've had with the ref. The AD, that's actually one that makes me hesitant to go to a school, and I love this school, but it's belt. It's I love going there, love the kids, but I have had not only multiple negative interactions with their AD, but also their basketball coach, which I guess is their principal as well. And yeah, so the first time I ever went there, I was driving a company car, the one with the letters on the side and everything. And I had, done a piece with the coach to do a season preview, and him and I, were on a good first name basis. And I said, I showed up and I was like, hey, wait, where do I park? It's like, oh, you can park right here. And I was like, okay, fine, and park. I don't think anything of it. And as I'm walking from the bathroom back to the field, I can hear this lady shouting at somebody at the ticket table. And as I get closer, I can start to clearly make out, like, I don't know why they think they can just park wherever the hell they want, and blah, blah, blah. And so I go up, I'm like, hey, and I'm clearly identifiable in my polo because it wasn't freezing cold weather yet. I said, hey, this is me. She's like, you can't park there. And I was like, okay, like, got it. Coach said I could. She's like, no, he didn't. And I'm like, okay, no, no, he didn't. I just did it because whatever. And I said, where can I park? She's like, anywhere but here. Like, she's just very short with me unnecessarily. And I'm just like, you realize that I'm here, nobody else is here, to cover your sports. And so then there was another game a few weeks later that I went to where she was just real short with me again. And then when I became independent, I don't have any clothes that identify me anymore. So I'm there and I'm shooting stuff on my phone and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I feel this hand grab my sleeve and start pulling me. And I turn, I look, and it's her. And she's like, you can't be here. And I'm just like, what? Like, she's just like, you need to be behind this line, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm standing there and I'm, watching the game recording, and I just started laughing. And she's like, what's so funny? And I was like, I've covered you guys for going on 3 years now. And I was like, I'm usually the only one here covering you guys. She goes, oh, well, who are you? And I told her. She's like, oh, well, and she starts backpedaling, trying to apologize. But I'm just like, if this is how you are to somebody that you think that you don't know, like, it doesn't make a difference to me. Like, every time, one, you can never remember me, and two, it's like every time we have an interaction, it's a negative one. And then the coach or the principal, I went to do a story on the basketball team. I told his assistant why I was there, and he never came over to shake my hand or to introduce himself to me. I basically waited for 20 minutes like an idiot. And then the assistant coach finally came over and said, yeah, I don't think he's going to come talk to you today. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you guys around. I think I did maybe 2 basketball games that year. But so, long story short, I have my own code of conduct, which is be as professional as I possibly can be in every environment, in every situation, which sometimes isn't enough. And then also go where I feel I'm welcome. And I honestly don't feel like I'm wanted at belts sometimes. Like, if I'm going to get the same interaction, if they can't remember who I am or they don't know why I'm there, and it's just like, if that's how you treat the people that you don't know who they are, you think you know who they are, then I just don't want to be a part of it. And so I feel really bad because I've always enjoyed going there. But thankfully, those have been very few. So, it creates your own kind of code, your own kind of rules, and I try to follow by those. I know that my attire has gotten a little more laxed over the years, but I always try to be, who I am at games is who I am at the grocery store, and who I am on social media. That way, there's no trying to figure out who they're going to run into at any point.
Yeah, we should have that people. I love when we have a bunch of people on the side, and the kids love it too. When there's a bunch of people, whether it's mom, like parents that are on some yearbook that are taking pictures, or it is madness from the electric, whatever. Like, the kids love it because it makes them feel like it makes it feel important to them. Like, why wouldn't you want that? That just doesn't make them sense. Sometimes I'm gonna run into you, run down the sideline after a big play. But you're just that just hearing that like blows my mind. Like, why would you want shit? You can park in my spot, bring your car up to the gates for it.
Like it was very sort of, because one, this is the first state I've lived in that didn't have a professional sports presence, right? You know, from Washington, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you could argue, but I went there for a job to be front office for a professional arena football team, that had like 11 championships. They were well known in the state. And then even Nebraska, the same thing is they had an arena football team that was very well known as well. So this is the first place that I've been to, and you could say the Outlaws, but they're not really doing much right now. But that so much stock is in college and high school level sports, and so I don't understand sometimes the attitude, I guess, or just the hesitance that I get. I mean, when I got declined to go to the championship last year by the MHSA, I was like, what? Like, so it's interesting. One thing that I do know for sure is that I always care more about what the kids think of me than the parents or anybody else does. Like, that's my top priority because I want them to want me around more than anybody else. Like, I don't care if the parents, care or not. If I'm there, I would love it. If they do want me to be there, that's great. But when I walk through the door, I'm not looking for the parents' reaction. I want to see what the kids think when I walk through the door, and so that's what it is for me. But with that, I'll get some friend requests, some messages through social media at hours that I'm just like, okay, it's a little late. So I have rules because of that. My Facebook, I always joke, it's like an 18 or older kind of thing because I don't need to go to a game and have some parent of a 14-year-old kid come up and be like, my kid told me that you think this. Because one, it's supposed to be your personal thoughts on your Facebook, like your opinions and whatever. And I knew a person that did that. That it was almost as if they lived a double life. So they would accept every friend request from students and parents and teachers alike. And then they would have to go through and delete comments from people they went to high school with because there's like inside jokes that aren't appropriate for whatever. And then we would hang out and they're the person that we remember that we know that they are, when it comes to the end of the day, but then there's somebody completely different around all those people because now they have this front they have to put on. And I'm just like, why do you do that to yourself? Like, just have rules. Like, unless you're graduated or 18, I'm not going to be friends with you on Facebook because I just don't need those problems. And if you're a parent, I will be until you start telling me how to do my job. It's pretty cut and dry. And then, of course, with the messages, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, I don't respond to messages past like 10:30, 11 o'clock because I do not need a parent being like, why is the fan show messaging you at 1 a.m? Like, nope, 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 nope. Well, if that didn't give you a little peek into the life and the credentials of myself and the ringer here, then I don't know what will. But we have our credentials, we have our resume, and then we have our rules based on the experiences. And so now we've picked some plays. We're gonna break them down. So you've got one queued up here. I think everybody is gonna know and appreciate this, unless you're a Grizz fan.
Which full disclosure, I am a Bruce fan.
Oh boy! So he loves my shirt choice today.
A kid
who loves their or somebody who sorry, treats other people, good. From what I've limited interaction I've had with them, regardless, who they are or what situation is the kid who gets the such.
Oh yeah,
it's like chance to be around, talk over my coach. Yeah, Shrine Sampson's last year. He was the head coach, Shrine and coach with him and Stovers, the D coordinator, and I wish it was the offensive coordinator. It was fun to see him like actually be around it in that sense, because we spent the past 30 years just in our ass. And then just damn this and meet around and it's like, wow, it's a really nice show, man. It was fun to see that there's having to get that have that dude. So yeah, I'm going to break this down here. This is amazing right here. So this is the third down. So this is 3rd and 10 in overtime, right?
okay.
They become the Cats can start a little bit. Illinois State of the really and the block rush on up. We found a good recipe there, second half, and the Cats come out. They got trips in right here, right in the bottom. So they got 3-by-1 set. These 3 guys at field, one receiver up top, and one back in the back. Well, the back is going to have to stay in block, right? Because they got 7 guys right here. So they're bringing it. So if they got 7 guys on the line, it's almost assuredly man rush, right? Unless they're dropping guys off the line, which is a different possibility, but they haven't really been doing that all night. So they go and they run this, and you'll see here, it's a variation of what it's called a smash concept. So you're going to get an outside receiver. He's going to have an in-breaking route. So this guy's going to run a slant, right? And he is the guy who's going to end up getting the ball. So you're going to have the slant there, and then this guy is going to run like seam, and then Taco is going to run the out route. So inside of receiver right, out breaking route to the corner. So you can see here as they run the route, the right slow motion. You got 7 guys coming. Well, there's 6 guys into your block, right? So somebody's coming free. So Lampson knows he's got to get rid of it quick. And he needs that first down right around here. And boom, he's going to fire it in, and it just goes off of some chains. So that is just a little bit behind, but it's a catchable ball. And then this DB right here, right, has a chance to play a lifetime and just can't quite react fast enough. So then it's 4th and 10 after this, right? Well, what do? They call a timeout, and then they're going to come right back to it. So let's see, it's going to be almost it's the exact same play. They're just going to start talking about down here. So we have the play fails the first time, and they come right back down to Taco Stone over here. He comes in motion and sets up. Get back with a 3-by-1 set. Again, Illinois State's got 7 guys up here on the line. The stuff that they do is a little bit different. This guy that came on the edge last time. He's going to stop. He's going to rotate in. He's going to come free. And man, Gibson's he's got to get rid of that way. Well, the number one thing that I've learned from all the best coaches I've coached under is, man, you just get your guys the ball, get your studs the ball. And so we're going to have the number 1 receiver, outside receiver, same thing. Man, he's going to run that in-breaking route. These guys are on the scene. And then Top when he's over here, he's got to run that corner. And that corner was open on the last one. It's just that last, so we threw through the slant. And so we just got to get rid of it, throw it up, and the top one underneath it. Because you're going to have a man coverage, right? You're going to have this safety on Todar. It's not going to be fast enough to keep up. And so he just has to throw it up to him and touchdown, national championship.
So last question on the 3rd down play then is, since it was more luck the reason why the play didn't work, what would the defense have needed to have done differently to make sure that it actually didn't work?
And you already came out on that 3rd down, and you had all this same luck. What I think I would have done right here personally is I would have lined these guys up. And you could have still brought 5, but I would have had a zone pressure. So then you're not lined. So then you could have had some help over here. Maybe the corner is depending on what coverage you're in, if it's corners or down 2 or whatever. I think they'll actually have Illinois State as the base cover 3 or cover 4, but depending on what their coverage is, then they could have had somebody, maybe a corner out here to help the safety on Taco. And they throws. Then if you make it look like the same pressure, like a curveball, right? In retire baseball. If you make it look like one pitch and it's another one, well, then if he's trying to get the ball off because he's thinking and they're bringing it, he throws that ball out there and then there's a corner helping on this part of the field, then it's an equally pass or it maybe. I doubt it because Taco's stuck, but that's what we like. What you were talking about is like that's probably what they should have won. You should have won zone and changed the picture for him. And then if they throw it, if he throws it then and he's trying to throw this slant over here or this slant right here, then you try to rally and hopefully it's not that hopefully that gets that mark and game over. And if they do, then it's first to goal from the 5, right? Then you're not giving up a touchdown, give yourself another chance to stop.
So the DB, is he just giving up way too much room? Because I feel like when your DBs are backed up, it's because they're trying to avoid giving up the big play, which is either for a first down or it's like 20 plus yards. And here I feel like he's trying to prevent the first down, but it's fourth down though. I mean,
Yeah.
if you this is it essentially. If you stop them here, then it doesn't matter if it's the big play or not. What's the point? Take us to when Taco cuts. I want to see the gap between him and the DB.
So the DB starts at 7 yards, be about right, I suppose. And then man, look at right there, Taco was just so
And he
fast.
was still backpedaling. The
So-
DB was still on his back foot.
That's why it's not into
Wow.
he just cuts so fast, and he has to go. There's no help, and he's losing right. And this Taco got leverage on the inside, right? So that ball is going to once he clears that scene right there, it's going to be quite an overbeat. So it's it never stood a chance. They never stood a chance to cover that.
All right, good breakdown there. Let's go to the last one.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Niners?
Yeah, I'll relive my happy days one more time.
Man, this play. So this play is just wicked, dude. I don't know what they're in. I'm not sure. I was trying to figure that out.
They're in Shanahan.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the Eagles
So
are doing.
the Eagles are, it looks like, so Cooper Sheet is going to follow them. So it's going to follow them, right?
Yeah, Sky Moore.
It looks like they're in man or some form of man. Cooper Sheet's following that motion, right? So he's running with them, and then so he's out. You might have in your corner for them, right? So then we got this play coming up right here. This guy, or sorry, this handoff right here. Handoff from Theo's a quick handoff, and then a pitch, and then we have my favorite part of the play. I Scott Bauer with the thought for just being the ultimate business decision.
Like just let your guy. He just let his boy do it up. And there was no attempt at Brock Purdy to block this D-line right here. So that just cracked me up.
And then we get the best running back, one of the best running the top three running backs in the NFL, Michael. Well, he looks like he is coming around to block, right? I don't know what and this guy is doing. So they must have been some form of man coverage because it didn't look like they had really a deep player except for the safety. The safeties were up thinking that it's a fly sweep, right? And then I assume that that's what Doc Adams doing. And this guy should be able to hear. I had missed this. Right? And he's way too late for it. But like I said, I think it's some form of man is what it is because if it's like college 3, then you would have the core keeper to shame would be back to recover deep, and then you'd have a safety ball and deep. So you would have two guys that they can help out because nobody else runs around. Like nobody else is doing anything. I was trying to figure out like why is the safety so slow? What's the safety doing? Because this guy doesn't really run. There's no run over there. And so I don't know.
So
The Eagles are doing that.
So my big question about this play that I had for you was it about what was happening behind the line? Because I know that at a certain point, if the players in the backfield or downfield, I should say, the players downfield like the DBs and whatnot see that either a pocket is collapsing or that it's a clear running play, they'll tend to start making their movement forward. So this one, because it's not only a reverse, but then I guess a flea flicker, is that drawing them up enough to give not only a clear lane to pass, but McCaffrey is that just blowing assignments downfield?
Yeah, I mean, somebody should have a running back on his back, right? Mother, it's man. So I don't know why it is. If I had to guess, it would be. If I had to guess, who was in the McCaffrey? I would say it's this guy right here. So he steps up, right? Because this guy still looks like he's man right there, right? So it should be this guy going over, but he still should have that safety kind of look. And so they are probably, they're probably flying out horrible route, but as a TB, it's pass first, right? It's got to be pass first. Unless you're blitzing, you're looking at pass first, and that's like the deep studio here. You're not going to be. We're not going to lead you making that attack. We need you to be empowered to prevent that's right here. So I'd be interested to know C-score angle on it. There's now maybe what drew this guy up. I assume this guy flying up on the initial, wait, on that or that, or sort of that initial,
Well, first down, I think, was a great spot to do it because nobody's expecting that on a first down play, especially with McCaffrey in the backfield. But I think there's a few things that stick out to me here. One, the second that it's in Sky Moore's hand, number 9 coming across there is no pocket. The pocket has completely collapsed. And then poor number 3 for the Eagles is just trying to follow the ball. And he ends up here, which is about as far on this side of the hash as you can be. And by the time that Jennings throws it, he's on the opposite side of the field because he's just chasing the ball.
So this would be what, like something that
it's just elementary stuff, right? And it's important, again, right nature states and where you're rushing not. So he should be out of there. When you're going up there and you got to contain, you're going to be as deep as the deepest, so like wherever that the deepest offensive player is, that's when you got to prevent stuff like this, right? Well, instead, he goes underneath and he's him on the chase over there. Well, no, you're not. Now this guy makes awesome play. Can go this is right here. This D tackle makes a great play, and then he's able to flip out and actually gets some pressure right on Jennings here for the throw. But just do your job, man. Everything on defense is about doing your job, doing it effectively, and not allow it. Like everybody's got responsibility, everybody's got a gap to do, to cover, to run down. Everybody's got their pass rush responsibility, whatever. You have one breakdown right there, right? Or in this play, they got a few breakdowns. So you got this guy that was a contain, and they got that safety doing whatever the hell he's doing. And then this guy, obviously, backfield. I assume that this is the guy who's supposed to be a coach. So you got at least 3 guys who are doing their job with this play.
So to recap, it sounds like with the Cats, it was just the best play call they could make. You're not going to catch Taco. We already did it.
That's the best player in the field.
And it worked, but it didn't. And so now we're going to do it again the right way. We're going to throw it to the right guy. And then for this one, it was just a few guys not doing their job and a couple of blown assignments. So when you guys call a play, offensive or defensive, how often do you get the matchup that you want, and how much is confidence in that play, no matter the matchup, that it's going to work?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a coin flip, It is. It really is. It's like a lot. I mean, it's a chess match. Like, what are they going to do? How are they getting? How can we combat it? How can we defend against it? But then, like for us, I mean, everybody who plays against us, paying attention, right? We'll realize that like our D-line, our defense, we run LCBs a lot. We run twists a lot. We like to run twists, and man, it does good. Sometimes it's awesome. It'll hit, and other times you run away from you twist away from it, and it ends up being a big play. And so a lot of it is you're gambling. You're pressing a button on a Keno machine, and sometimes you're not going to.
That's why we love the sport.
Yeah, and we've been like that with different over the years. Like when we ran like the 3-3 and we're blitzing, sliding guys. It's like sometimes it's a Cooper Collins, a 5-yard loss, but other times it's like, oh shoot, that's a 12-yard gain, okay, because we blitzed away from it.
All right, man. Well, that was a good breakdown. I think we covered enough to get people excited about what we're going to be doing this fall. But we'll keep things rolling. I don't know, once a month or every couple of weeks, come back, pick a few plays that we want to talk about, and let the people get to know us a little bit more. But that's breaking film down with the Ringer here. So
yeah, let me know if you have any other ideas, or if brings it out there, so I can go back and get some of the big moments from high school season. And
I think that would be good too. So we'll review it. We will revisit a few plays from the last season, some maybe from Bison, Rustlers, and then of course postseason, the championship. We can go over all of that and see what works, what didn't, and what we could have changed.
I would love to look at that championship game. That was amazing. Glacier was.
Oh, they were good, man. They were real good. Being able to contain Ludwig like that is just crazy to me, man. Great coaching. All right, so for the Ringer, Zack Ringler, I am the team man, Richard Tiemann. This has been the Fan Show. We will see you next time.